Oh, that's scary.
So Joanne will introduce herself in a moment. Joanne is both an ambassador and partner for Women's Network Australia and is extremely well connected, very experienced in business, in leadership, in connecting and supporting women in particular. And this is an opportunity to explore a particular style of leadership, heart-centered leadership we'll be talking about today. And I suspect that will resonate with a lot of you. It certainly resonates with me as a particular leadership style. So the way we run these sessions, as we're admitting more people into the room, thank you so much, Beck, if you can look after that. The way we run these sessions is Joanne is very generous in sharing both her time, her knowledge, and her resources. She'll be sharing her slide deck with us and talking us through the concept of heart-centered leadership, and then opening up to you to have a discussion about what it means to you and also strategies around that. So everyone, welcome. We will record this session and we will provide you with the recording afterwards. So thank you very much. Women's Network Australia, if you aren't a member, we're here for you to support women in business. Women's Network Australia has been around for 4 years in Australia, and we're grateful to have some guests joining us from far and wide, and look forward to hearing your thoughts and input on this important subject. So Joanne, thanks so much. Handing over to you and today's session.
Thank you so much. So this is very much an interactive session. So please, I won't be watching the chat, but I know Beck will, and please feel free to ask questions. But I'll also be asking your contribution towards this topic as well. So it's not about me talking at you a lot. So bear with me for a moment while I just get myself organised to share.
And just while Joanne's doing that, you'll see in the chat, if you don't have it open, Beck has shared the Dropbox link, which contains the workbook for this session. So as well as the slide deck, there is a PDF workbook that you can download and work in, which again is a fantastic resource.
My pleasure. Please, I'm going to do the standard thing. Can you see the screen? Are we good to go? Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So Wisdom Well, this is April. We've been doing this January, February, March, and in March we covered leadership. So we're now talking about heart-centered leadership. So last month, and if you didn't attend, it's been recorded, we explored leadership identity. Today, we're going to look at how to lead from the inside out. So what are we going to discover? What connects, inspires, and empowers us without leading to be more ready? And that's a really important piece, needing to be more ready. Walk away with clarity, confidence, and real tools. So what does this mean to me? When the world says perform, your heart says to be present. It reflects the external pressure that I think for us as women in business, to show up, maybe we unconsciously or consciously think this, to show up perfectly, to prove our value constantly, to be polished, productive, and impressive. That's hard, right? It's hard to show up like that consistently. Society equates leadership with performance, flawless delivery, high energy, control, and certainty. But I know for me, my heart says to be present. So what does that mean to me? Leadership is not about connection. It is about connection. It's not about control. It creates trust and real influence. And you know what's really good and what's really not so obvious to a lot of people? You don't have to have it all together. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need these things here. So for me, this is an invitation to drop the mask, breathe deeper, show up authentically, not as a role, but as a human. It's a really important piece for me, because what this line says to me, it's moving from proving to being, from performing to connecting, from hustling to leading with intention. Because you know what the truth is? Performance impresses, presence transforms. right? So it's a different, let's look at it differently. So Cheryl said who I was. Joanne Brooks. I've been in business for a little while, 20 odd years. Yep, I've built a $30 million business, but I did lose it all and I've had to rebuild myself. I learned that letting go, not holding on tighter, was the key to me picking myself up again. I stopped from performing leadership to living it from inside out. So my lesson in my journey, true leadership doesn't start to have where you have all the answers. By golly, I don't. And that's why I love being part of a network like this, Women's Network. Cheryl and I have a great relationship. There's lots of ladies that we connect with, or I connect with through here. And it starts with when you choose to lead from heart, even in the messy middle. So, you know, the messy middle is something that I reckon we all have a bit of an affinity for. Business can be pretty messy, right? So here's a stat. 76% of women seek only support in crisis. So where did I get that stat from? As a few of you may know, I recently completed my MBA, and the research project was understanding women who engage with coaching and engage with networking and showing up and looking for support. And this is the statistic that came as a result of that. So what I'm suggesting is let's not wait for tomorrow. Let's dive in and see what I learned as three of my top, I'm just going to share three concepts with you of leadership secrets, if this is hopefully going to be super useful for you. So what did I learn in the MBA project that I did? Women delay coaching because they don't feel ready, but confidence comes after clarity. Women who are running teams often feel like a fraud. It's a very sad thing that there's women out there that feel like that. Some of you might be going, that's me, or I used to be, or maybe I do, maybe I don't. But what I know is about leadership, you don't need to be ready. You just need to be willing. Just give it a go, right? Just give it a go. Now, some of you may be sole entrepreneurs. I am. I work on my own. I've had a team of 110 people before. So don't feel that if you're a solopreneur that you don't need to show up as a leader. You need to show up as a leader to your family, to your clients, to your suppliers, to your networks, to your collaborators. All these elements of your business is important. What I also heard was we delay speaking up, launching, leading until we feel enough, until we're ready. You know what really is amazing is that what I've noticed, courage happens midair, not before the leap. It's in the middle of it, right? It's where you've decided, I'm going to dive into this thing. So one of the things that I'd like you to think about, and you don't need to answer, you can pop it in the chat if you like. You've got a workbook that speaks to all these slides and you can work on it at your own pace. I'd like you to think about where is an area in your business that you're waiting to be ready. Now that ready could be, I've been working on this product, this offer, this service. I'm not ready to launch it out yet. I want to get out there and start speaking. I want to do podcasts to talk about my business. I want to go out and reach out to people to collaborate with, but I'm not ready yet. I'm a little bit nervous. What would it look like if you did dive into this? What would it look like if you took the courage and the courage arrived midair, not before the leap? That would be really cool. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Because you know what I know? You don't need to be able to do it all to be a good leader. Gosh, I don't. That's why I surround myself with other people who are around you to help and support you. Because secret number 2 is support is a power move, not a weakness. Now, I will be the first to say that I am not somebody who will necessarily reach out and say, I actually need some help here. It's something that I've learned, something that I've had to learn as a result of a business being liquidated 8 years ago. I had to realize that it's not a weakness. It's something of strength to go, actually, I don't know it all. There's things in my business that I'm not the expert in. I know a lot about business, but the two things that come into my mind is, do I have to do it? Is it something that is my time well spent? Or is it something that I actually don't know how to do that and I'm wasting more time by doing it than not? So who can you reach out to support? Because what I noticed again through the MBA project that I did, women often rely on informal advice. This seemed to be a common thing. And when I say informal advice, I'm talking about it could be somebody that they know, family, friends, etc. And they avoid networks or coaching due to cost, shame, or trust. That was loud and clear in my research project. So what I'm saying today is support is a power move. Ask for support. And so another question for you, do you have an advisory board? Now, I'm not suggesting that you need to go out and spend a whole bunch of money and get these people, and pay them to be part of your advisory board. I consider there's a few people on this screen, on this meeting, who are part of my advisory board. Cheryl Gray's one of them. Because we connect, we talk, we share, we swap ideas. Hey, I've got this idea. What do you think about it? So think about who are the people that you might speak to, ask support and advice, who actually have the experience to give you their knowledge based on what they know, on their expertise. I know, I've got a 94-year-old mother. She will ask me about the business. She'll be giving me some advice, what she might consider advice. And I know it's given with love. My goodness, Joanne, you work a lot of hours. When is this going to stop? Well, it's not going to, because I love what I do, thankfully. But, she offers these comments, these narratives with love. I get that. But what I also know is I don't need to take it on board to think of it as a negative thing. She's saying these things with love and support. So who do you have in your circle that you can count on to go, hey, can I just give you a call? Like, one of the things I love doing, and I do this in a number of networks, is there's some ladies that I connect with and I go, actually, how'd you like to set up an accountability meeting, say once a month? We're going to do it once a month I do it for one of the networks out of the US. One of them's an author. She writes children's books. Another one is an energy healer. Completely different skill sets to mine, but we connected on a personal level and we went, you know what? I think this accountability meeting would be really great. We catch up. What does support look like for you today? What Joanne, do you need today? What do you want to share some ideas of what you're doing? All that sort of stuff is just so encouraging, so powerful. And I fear women don't proactively do that. So how do I fit it in? I put it in my calendar. I lock it in my calendar. It's booked, it's done. And so you can have a number of those. I do. I have a number of those that I can, like, I know I can call Cheryl anytime and say, hey, I've got an idea. Let's catch up. Can we just spitball this piece? She does that with me as well. And other people in the network. So I would encourage you to make some notes. Who could you reach out to that's part of your advisory board? One of them is my accountant. Now, I don't pay him to be part of my advisory board, but I certainly share my business plan, my cash flow forecast, and I say, I want a meeting. I want to talk to you about what my goal is, what my strategy is for my business. Can you give me some ideas of where I might be going wrong or well? Or can you connect me with people in your organization? That did not cost me anything. He was prepared to give me his time, which was pretty amazing. So think about who is in your circle. Do you have an accountant that you can have those conversations with? Do you have people in your circle that you can reach out to and say, hey, I got an idea. What would it look like if we connected regularly? Can I share ideas with you? Your advisory board could also be people that you admire from afar. Like, I love listening to and reading Robin Sharma's books. I love Brene Brown. I love those sort of people who have a really heart-centered business. They're not part of a formal advisory board, but certainly when I go, actually, there's a book, I know there's stuff in a book that Robin Sharma reads, and I'll literally open and go, what do I need to know today? And his stories, the way that he talks about leadership is game-changing. So make some notes, and I'd love to see some comments when I get off the screen. Who could be in your advisory board? Who can help and support you in your business? Because you know what? Letting go isn't giving up. It's actually choosing a growth over control. So if we could mute Julie, that would be amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. So asking for support is not a failure. It's actually, I think, it's the smartest women who stay in the game. So if you want to be one step ahead of everybody else in business and stand out, asking for support, having that advisory circle, having that connection with other people who can help and support you is a power move. And it's something that a lot of us as women, we don't do as well as we could because we often think of it as a weakness when it so isn't. So, number 3, connection to perfection as versus perfection. The most powerful leaders in the next decade will not be the loudest. I do feel that, but they will be the most connected. So people don't follow your polish, they follow your presence. So I speak to a lot of women about getting on the screen, on the video, to being the face of their business. And they'll go, oh, I'm not ready. The hair's not done. The makeup's not on. I don't feel comfortable, all those sort of things. Because you know what? Perfection says I must perform. Connection says I'm willing to show up fully human. So who's in your team, your clients, your community that they're craving? So how are you willing to show up? Are you willing to show up every now and then? I will show up walking the dogs with a hat on, no makeup, and I'll go, oh, it doesn't look as good as I'd like it to be. But I'm prepared to do that because you know what? Your customers need to know that you're human. They need to know that you are feeling the same things they are. Often when it certainly wasn't something that I became incredibly comfortable with showing up on screen a number of years ago when I started doing it. But some of the things that I did to support and help me to get that confidence, one, I went and had a styling session. So I knew that what I was wearing, colors, style, everything made me feel good. I also went and had some coaching with a professional speaker. I did that deliberately so that I had the capability and the confidence to do what I need to do. Now, you may or may not have the financial capacity to do that, but if you need introductions to those people, you can follow them on LinkedIn. I'm happy to show you that. And they talk about this all the time. So even if you can't engage them formally, do the quiet stalk on LinkedIn and just see what they're doing and how they're saying it, because this is a really important piece for women in business. You shouldn't even use the word perfection because it does. I don't think it exists at all. Like I was looking at a post I did the other day and I have shared the heck out of it everywhere and there was a spelling mistake on it. And I went, well, that's a bugger. That my OCD kicked in and I wanted to go in and edit it and re-add the video, the image, but I forced myself not to because I'm actually human. It's okay that there's a spelling mistake in it. So, okay. So true leadership isn't found in perfection. It's found in presence. I know your customers don't follow you because you're perfect. They follow you because they feel seen, heard, and safe. And connection is about trust. Perfection creates distance. I really do feel that. So when it connects to heart-centered leadership, we should stop trying to impress. We should start trying to connect. And we lead by being real, not by being right. So hopefully these things are resonating with you. And I'd love to, if you've got any comments, etc., you're most welcome to share them. So please do. One of the things that I do want to share with you is just a quick little tool. This is an interactive piece we're coming to now, and you might want to use the workbook to do that. The power of letting go. And when I say letting go, it's about we're going to shift the gears. So this isn't about, I'm not going to share information with you. It's about your internal reflection. But I will share with you one tool because let's be real, I'm talking about delegation. How can you get stuff off your plate? Because what I know is that delegation's hard. But let me share with you a very quick tool. This comes directly from Brené Brown. I didn't create this. I've done her program and I love the TASK acronym. The TASK. So even if you want to grab a screenshot of that, it's in your workbook. If you use this methodology for every time you delegate something, now when I say delegate, it could be to an outsourcer, to a client, possibly a client, a supplier, team member, It could be someone on Fiverr. It could be someone in the Philippines. It could be actually a team member that you have. So the first one is task. What is the specific task you're asking somebody to take on? Be really specific. Secondly, do they have the authority or access that they need to have? So do they have access to the systems? Do they have the skill? Do they know the things? Do they have access to the things that's going to help them to have that task done? What does success look like for the task? So tell them, when task is done, this is what I expect it to look like. This is what the outcome should be. And check in. How and when will you check in, and who initiates that? So, because you know what? A lot of people I've spoken to about delegation, they said it's terrible. I have to show them how to do all these things, and often they get it wrong. Guess whose responsibility that is? Guess whose fault that is? Ours. If we have not delegated that task correctly and got the outcome that we expect from that delegation activity, the person who's at fault is ourselves. And this little acronym, I've used it for years, and I will say to you that it really helps you to be very articulate. You can even ask them, the person you're delegating it to rephrase it back to you. Tell me what you heard. What does it look like when it's done? This is true leadership. This is leadership which helps them to understand that they're being given permission to do something. They have the tools and resources. You might also like to share with them, it's okay to get it wrong. Okay to get it wrong, because guess what? We learn so much when we get it wrong. We surely do. So who could we delegate to? Trusted outsourcers, external or internal. So let's just quickly look at what that might look like. So it could be co-creation partners, your team, others that you meet without needing to be you being in the middle. It's an efficiency builder. It could be outsourcers. Streamline be back end, less hands-on. It could be staff, vendors, partners. It frees you up to lead from vision, not day to day. So how often are we locked into the day-to-day doing in our business? And it's your leadership circle. It's your circle of advisory, of support, of people who've got your back. Because when you give them permission to take on the task, to use their skill set, they know what it's going to look like when it's done. They are then part of your trusted circle. You have them on board. And guess what? You're no longer the bottleneck, because you're the person shining the light, right? You're the beacon of light. So tasks to the animation's gone backwards. It helps you to let go with integrity. Again, it helps you build a team, creates structure. You don't have to control everything. It builds transparency and supports others and yourself with confidence. So that's a really cool little tool. Hopefully that's useful. There's not too much more here. So this is where I want to have you interact into the chat. I want you to think about what is not yours to hold anymore. So this is about delegation. This is about moving things on. This is about asking for support. This is about leading from heart. Because we carry a lot of stuff, and some of it we've outgrown. Is there a possibility you can move things on? Now, some people might say to me, well, I'm not financially capable to pay for somebody to outsource or employ people. Have you ever thought about doing an exchange of services? Maybe you have a service that the person's going to do this for that maybe they need your services. There's ways of doing things to outsource stuff if financial is a challenge. So what is not yours to hold on to anymore? Does anybody want to go off mute and share that thought? I would love to hear.
I will start because it picks up a topic that I did a LinkedIn post on last week, I think, and that's delegation and the struggles around delegation. And I certainly feel that I'm often the bottleneck in moving things forward because I want to take time to consider things, or I want to, add value to something.
Yeah.
Of course, once you have that attitude, you do often become the bottleneck in the process,
Yeah.
which then actually stops the outcome. So having that sense of letting go and accepting that it can go on without your fingerprints all over it, I think is a really important element of this.
Yeah.
I guess my other observation, and I sort of put it in the chat, Ben, I'm keen to hear from others, is that heart-centered leadership requires very much an opening of your heart, an opening of that sense of vulnerability, accepting, that you're not great at everything. You can't be great at everything, which I think is a real struggle for a lot of us as business owners, because that's who we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be the ones that have the answers, particularly if our business is helping others.
Exactly.
That we position ourselves as experts in our field, and yet to embrace this concept of heart-centered leadership requires us to really dig into some of those demons.
Yeah.
My question, Joanne, though, is why heart-centered leadership? Why should we do this? What are the benefits of this approach?
Well, I'm going to answer that with a reflection on when I wasn't heart-centered in a very large business that I ended up liquidating. And I remember that period of time in my life where I would get up in the morning and I so didn't want to be there. I felt sick. I wasn't sleeping. I'd go to the office. I had 100-odd staff. There was a lot of pressure. I had a lot of things coming at me. And this is not to speak directly to a business that had a lot of staff. This was about where I know on reflection, I completely lost my connection to purpose and why I was doing this in my business. When you are deeply connected to why you started it, why you're doing it, what the impact is that you're making, it comes from the heart, right? And I think the thing about, we're all very used to this technology thing, right? We don't meet each other face to face so much anymore. So what is the bridge? It's heart-centered, I feel, because you can actually get quite disconnected. You just look at our kids who are constantly on these devices, and they're losing or not gaining the control, the capability of speaking well, of being comfortable to pick up the phone and just call somebody. So for me, why heart-centered leadership? For me, it will capture the attention of your audience, because they will see the difference between the person who is leading from heart to the person who's doing it because they have to, they're not connected, they're not engaged. Look, we're not silly. We can even tell that through a screen, right? So for me, it is the bridge between this very powerful, amazing, and I love technology. If anybody knows me, I love my shiny technology toys. I love them. But as I've been speaking about for years and years, high tech, high touch. Use technology to its best tech capabilities to release you to be able to be the most human, high touch person you can for your customers. And for me, that's what that means.
Annette, I'd love to share your comment that you put in the chat and maybe get you to talk further on it. Annette says, I know I'm great at caring for and supporting others, and have in the past not accessed support. And when I did, it was a game changer for my own personal and professional development and for my business. Annette, can you maybe talk us through that experience? Because that's a real example of heart-centered leadership where you deliberately made a choice to do something different. Can you share that with us?
Yeah, thanks, Cheryl. I appreciate that. Yeah, look, for me, it really came back to, I guess for me, the external challenges that were around me. I would let them be quite, I guess, overwhelming. And my focus was very much on fixing the external, if I could get the external problem fixed. And what I was very good at was I was very good at supporting others and coming to them wholehearted and vulnerable in their vulnerability. but not necessarily my own, if that makes sense.
Mm.
And that was not, and that was in my personal life. It was with my sister, in my family.
Mhm.
And I was always very quick, if any, and even my friends, they all know if there is something going on, and even when there isn't, but I have some amazing and very beautiful friendships and beautiful people around me. And part of that is because I spent a lot of time focusing on others and not myself. And I love what you were saying, Joanne, around kind of the role of perfectionism,
Mm.
because at the end of the day, the reasons for me not going there was because of the fear. It was
Yes.
to be vulnerable is to look inward and
Yes.
actually really face the fears that are telling us the story. We're
Mm.
not good enough for support, or we have to always show up perfectly. So when I shifted my focus, and like you said, Joanne, mine was I got coached, right?
Yeah.
And I had somebody work with me over probably, this has been about an 18-month
Mhm.
journey, and doing that inner work,
Yes.
going into, like you were saying, Cheryl, facing those inner dark places that we think are dark, by the way. We've told ourselves they are.
Yes.
And once I started to do that, then I was able to be vulnerable with others and accept support. And not only accept support, but actively seek and have support all around me. And it has been completely game changing for personally, professionally, and my business, because there are things that I just get on with. I loved, by the way, the delegation. I'm going to use that. So
Oh,
that's
please do.
because my next thing is delegation, right?
Yes.
But I am really good at showing up for my clients,
Mm.
for everyone around me, but I needed to show up for myself first. And
Yeah.
until I did that and was willing to go there in a safe and trusted
Mm.
relationship that I had with my coach, that was always going to be the barrier for me moving into, and I've now just recently, I've accepted redundancy. I'm 100% in my business. I have left the job. And I
Congratulations.
am living my, thank you, Joanne. I'm living my dream. But
Amazing.
none of that would have happened without doing that work and without being open and having my people.
Yes. Oh,
Sure.
you are singing from the same hymn book for me, Annette. So I love, love, love that. I put a slide of what is it that you're telling yourself why you can't let things go.
Mm,
What I resonate with what you said, Annette, was doing the inner work first. So that's something I'll share a quick story for me. Like I've been an entrepreneur for nearly 30 years and I've done a lot of that sort of stuff before, but I let it go for a long, long time. And it was only middle of last year that I went, actually, I need to actually do some work for me, on me. And so this has been something that now what I land with today, I spend the first 2 hours of my day on me.
mm,
So I'm not in front of this computer doing work until 8 o'clock, whereas before it would be about 6. I
mm,
get up at 5, go for a walk, there's meditation, there's journaling, there's learning, there's all these things. And at first, because it was something that Robin Sharma put out there and said, how about you join the 5 a.m. club? And I went, okay, well, I get up at 5 anyway, that's cool. But I thought, gosh, really? I'm not going to get all this stuff done if I'm not sitting at my desk by 6 o'clock in the morning. It's just not possible. There's just so much to do. I cannot tell you how much work I get done in a shorter day.
yeah.
And I will often finish at 3 or 4 o'clock as well.
Yeah.
And,
And I
and
think,
why is that, Joanne? Why is that? Because you're obviously not working faster.
No, I'm more focused. I've worked for various different organizations and people that I work with. I actually use it. I have a Mac and it has this wonderful little timer thing. So I actually use the time and go, okay, I'm going to do work for this client now, put it on for an hour. And I know I've got an hour and it'll ding, ding, ding. All right. If I'm not finished, I'm moving on to the next piece. So I am so more focused I'm not distracted. I actually have more energy internally. So I'm not, when I get tired or etc., I'll get up from the desk, I'll wander around, I go pat the dogs, I might go put dinner on, I might put the washing out, all those things to delay doing the thing that I need to do.
And
And
can
that just
I
doesn't
add
happen.
something, Joanne and Cheryl, which is powerful at the moment? So when I accepted redundancy in February, I now have I've had to make the mindset shift of being a worker and now being in my business.
Yes.
But even greater than that, the next space is for me that I'm working on is creating rest in my day and
Yes.
creating rest in my life and it's very countercultural
Mhm.
because busyness, I used to wear busyness as a badge of honor.
Yeah.
I wore perfection on this side
Oh, that's
and I
heavy.
wore
That's really heavy, isn't it?
busyness as
Yeah.
a badge of honor. The more busy that I am, and there is, and our culture, our workplaces, our environments are very much geared around just busyness. And we have forgotten the paramount importance of having that day of rest or
Yes.
whatever, however that comes.
Yes.
And I love what you were just saying because I have been doing the same.
Yeah.
This morning have been spending time for myself. I've got a particular day, mine is Monday. So Mondays is I start on Sunday night, sit down with hubby, we have a nice little meal together. I kind of shut myself and go, right, I'm gearing myself into Monday is my rest day. And I am completely disconnected from everything technology. I am disconnected from the things that are busy. I know that are my triggers for busyness. And ever since and I've only just been doing this now for about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And ever since that I have done that, oh my goodness. And I think the thing that I've also learned is if we don't make that time intentionally for rest, our bodies will make it for us in the form of illness and stress. So we have the option to be proactive, create that space, and find that rhythm of rest and flow and being rejuvenated so that we come out of that place and there's more the creativity, the downloads that I just
Exactly.
started a new part of my business out of that place of rest. So I just wanted to say
Thank you.
that's the next step for me. And so when you were talking about that, that's so exciting. I love it.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. And I wanted to just pick up again on another comment that Sarah made in the chat. And Sarah, I don't know if you want to talk about it, but that opportunity to come up with, as you just said, Annette, come up with new ideas if you could open yourself up to that opportunity. And Sarah identified bold new service areas as one of the outcomes that she was achieving. Sarah, you want to come off on mute and just expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Headphones on. Yeah, I guess connecting the two and experimenting around that for me in recent months has been the fact that I can't go into creative mode without rest mode first. And I find when I'm
Sarah, your line's a little sketchy. I don't know if you can just get
I'll
to
just
a...
turn my headphones off. I'm out.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, that's better.
Yes, much
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, I just find that I've found experimenting with a cycle of rest and then creation, even in the course of a week, not even taking long time off to rest, that I just go into these amazing bursts of creativity that I can be, not productive, but creative. And so I'm in the process of launching a new business, and it was just funny hearing you say that, Annette, because I just came upon that this morning of going, I actually have to structure every week that way in order to cultivate that in a way that's just not random and when required, but as a way of living and running my business and creating. And and then when I have needed to do that in a bigger way, I've had to take myself away. Like last week, I took myself on my own business retreat, just me out into the side, and because I had to do some big creating. And yeah, I'm trying to make that more of a cycle because it's just a game changer, as you say.
I love that. Congratulations on launching your business. And I think this, what you both ladies have commented, it leads really nicely to this particular slide. And let's be clear here as well. It's not just about leading others, but leading self, right? So it'd be lovely to hear, what is one word or phrase that feels like freedom to you? It would be really great to pop that in the chat. I'll just go through these last few slides. I would like to turn the slide off so that we can have the last couple of minutes. So what I'd love for you to be walking away is that letting go isn't a weakness, it's wisdom. It's not about doing less, but it's leading more intentionally. So that was the intention of today, was to really give you that oomph. And I feel that there's a number of ladies here already that are doing that. It's amazing. I celebrate you for that. It's absolutely beautiful. Here's your key lessons. It's in your workbook. I really do thank you for this really robust conversation. So one of the things I want to tell you about is next month we're talking about numbers, financial empowerment for women. Take control of your financial future, etc. I'm looking forward to that. I find that finances, talking money, looking at profits, looking at profitability can be something that women do struggle with. It's not limited to women, but it is something that we don't do as well as we possibly could. And for any of you who are on the Gold Coast, we are starting a face-to-face Gold Coast Circle. It starts on the first Tuesday monthly, the 6th of May. Grab that if you are on the Gold Coast or can come to the Gold Coast. I'm hosting it. It's at Sanctuary at Hope Island. Really lovely cafe overlooking the water. I would love to see you there. Or if you know anyone who would love to come, if you want to connect with me, go grab that QR code. I would love to talk to you. Anybody who's in building, growing, scaling businesses from the heart, that's me. I would love to connect with you. So I'm going to stop sharing. Let's get all the beautiful faces back on screen. Look at all these comments. Lovely. Thank you. Any words that speak to you in regards to what we just shared today? I would love for you to
Maya, I think some your comments there about having to normalize treating ourselves right so that we can treat others right. Again, a really interesting lesson out of heart-centered leadership. Do you want to expand on that?
Yeah, thank you for bringing light to that. That's how I'm feeling. We just have to start normalizing treating ourselves good. And so we'll know what it feels like and the benefits of other people. I saw this video that says, you know, when we're thinking about working with people, we never really take into account their experience with us. And so I try to be more mindful of, I want to create a good experience with those I'm working with, in community with you wonderful ladies. And so that's just how I'm leading my life. And this was such a wonderful lesson, Joanne. I enjoyed every single second.
Oh, thank you. So make sure you all get the workbook. It's got the slides in it. Do please work through it. I'd love to connect with you. That's what we're here for, right? I love having conversations with women in business and what does support look like for you from me.
And Joanne mentioned we've been doing this monthly, these Wisdom Well sessions. And every session has a fantastic workbook. And if you missed any of those sessions, please email us at Women's Network Australia and we'll share them with you. It's Joanne's work and she's very kindly lent that to us. And they're terrific. You know, I find it really hard to get away from, you know, I'm not a retreat person. I find that I don't have opportunities to get away. But what I do love is sending my family away.
That's a good idea.
And creating a retreat at home.
White House.
Which is what I'm doing pretty much this weekend, as they all go and do their stuff. And the dog and I stay home and lock ourselves away and treat ourselves kindly and get some rest and do all of those things. So even if you find that you can't get away bring the retreat vibe to you. You know, do the things that you might do on a retreat. Go for a walk. Do some meditation or yoga. Light those candles. Have that fantastic food. Sit, journal. Just spend time on yourself. It's just as useful as perhaps taking yourself off. So yeah, I share that with. I hope to again emerge inspired and regenerated after my family come back.
I love that reverse engineering. That's awesome. Such a good idea.
Okay, it's 12 o'clock. We're going to wrap up
On the
the
button.
session. Georgie, great to see you again. Thanks so much for joining us. Mariam, lovely to see you again. Looking forward to catching up with you soon. And Fiona, I know you've got lots of insights on this topic that we might get you to share in a separate topic at some stage soon. Nicole, thank you so much for being with us today. Kerry, thank you for joining us. Really lovely to see you here. Bea and Maya and Julie and Dana, thank you so much for being with us. Annette, thanks for your very valuable contributions today. Of course, thank you to Joanne for all of her input. Please, if you'd like to take a copy of the chat, so you've got some of those insights there as prompts, just do a save chat with the 3 little dots at the top. And then if you do want any of those other resources, just contact us and we can send them out to you. And then join us next month for our next Wisdom Well session. We look forward to seeing you then.
Thank you, ladies. It was awesome.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Bye for now.
Take care. Ta-ta.
Thank you. Bye-bye.